Hello, my lovely friends. My name is Ava, and here are some winter reads you should read. If you hear squeaking, it's Winnie. I either give her that or she starts to chew on a table leg, okay? We're gonna be talking about romances you should read this winter that give me winter vibes. So let's get started. First one I feel like is very obvious. This is The Coldest Winter by Brittany Cherry. This one is a forbidden romance. These two characters end up meeting at a college party one night and end up having a one-night stand. Assume they're just gonna go their separate ways and never see each other again, even though they had a grand old time. But the heroine goes in for her semester of being a teacher's assistant for college in order to graduate. She's an education major. And guess who is sitting in the high school class that she is helping teach, but the guy that she had a one-night stand with. And she is shocked. She's like, I thought you were in college. She's like, yeah, I'm 18, but I got held back, I think, a year or two. So here we are. She's actually also roped into being his tutor because he is failing school because of some other things going on in his life. There is trigger warnings in here for substance abuse, depression, illness, and the topic of death. So please be aware of that before going in, but he is dealing with like all of that stuff. He's going through a lot. And the heroine gets roped into being his tutor. She doesn't want to be because of what they did. She doesn't want to do it again because she doesn't want to risk college degree, being at school, whatnot. But she has no choice when the principal tells her like, hey, can you tutor this kid? So she's stuck with him. And then the more time they spend together with the tutoring, the more time they have to fall for each other. And it's a forbidden romance, okay? Kind of student teacher, kind of not, because she's not really his teacher, more of his tutor than anything else. So if you want a shorter read, I have Set the Record Straight by Hannah Bottom Young. This is a sapphic romance that takes place during the holidays. Like, look at how cute this book is. I think this is the only one of Hannah's books that is still on Kindle Limited, so go get that, go get it. This romance is about two best friends. One of them just got a new job at this, I believe, art gallery, and she wants to impress her new boss, and you figure out why in the book, but for some reason her boss believes that she is gay. And she's like, crap, I have to like show up with a girlfriend or something. I don't want to be fired. And so she asked her best friend, who is actually gay, like, hey, could you pretend to be my girlfriend and like come to work for this event? She's like, okay. I think they kiss at the end of the night to like show that they're together or whatever. And the straight friend is like, wait a minute, I don't think I'm straight. Because she very much enjoyed that kiss with her best friend. So that's kind of the gist of it. It's a grand little old read, so I really recommend it if you have not picked it up yet. I have The Butterfly Project by Emma Scott. This one takes place in the wintertime, specifically in New York City. We have the baby here because she was misbehaving, but we were talking about The Butterfly Project. Yeah, it takes place in the wintertime during New York City. Our heroine Zelda goes to New York City to try and make a name for herself when it comes to her graphic novel. She is making a graphic novel that is inspired by the death of her sister and someone seeking revenge for that death. Anyway, something happens to where she needs a place to live because the place she was at is not safe anymore, and she bumps into this guy who is a server at an Italian restaurant that she goes to one night. Oh my gosh. And he kind of lets it slip that he is going to not be able to afford rent this month and he's gonna have to sell some of his things. And she's like, okay, wait, how about I move in with you just for a little while till I can get my graphic novel to some publishers, and then you'll have enough money for rent and you won't have to sell anything. Whoa. So he's like, okay, bet, let's do it. And they have to share this shoe box of a size apartment. Like, it is so small. It's probably the size of this room, the whole entire thing. So there's like only one bed trope, sharing warmth because it's really cold in New York in the winter. And the hero also has like a damaged past. He's going through some stuff at the moment and thinks that a relationship probably wouldn't be the best for this point in his life. But you know what? Sometimes things just happen. With Love from Cold World is a great one, especially if you live in more of the hotter areas of the world where you do not get snow or any really cold weather at all. I really related to this because I live in Texas and it's very, very, very rare that it gets like really cold, let alone snow. It snowed maybe, I've seen snow here maybe like 3 times in my life, and I'm 26. So this takes place in an amusement park that is called Cold World. It's in Florida and anyone can go to it. This doesn't exist in real life, by the way, but in this made up universe that Alicia Thompson has made up, this is Cold World, which is in Florida, and Florida does not get snow, obviously. So they made up Cold World, which is a place you can go to experience what snow would be like. You can make a snowman, go on some rides that deal with snow and all that stuff. So it's actually really fun. So that's why I would read this during the winter months, because you get that snow effect even though the snow is not real. This is a workplace romance, obviously. Both these characters work at Cold World. Our heroine works behind the scenes. She's more of the finance lady back there in the offices. And the hero actually just like hops everywhere around the park, does any little task that he can find, but he's worked there for like over a decade. These two don't really get along. But then both of them are stuck alone one night in Cold World together, and things kind of shift between them and their relationship. So it's a good read. There's also bisexual representation here with our hero, and I feel like we rarely get to read about bi-rep when it comes to men in romance books, so I did have to mention that. Come As You Are is my next one. This one takes place in a very snowy area during the winter time, so I thought this would be perfect for this list. This is an older couple romance, so I think the book says Gen X, a Gen X romance. The hero runs this rehabilitation house for ex-cons, people getting out of jail. They're men wanting to turn their life around. And the heroine runs this ski lift. It's like a tiny little ski lift, kind of like mom and pop ski lift. And there is a more popular, bigger one that has come in recently in their area, and people are flocking towards that more than her. So she's losing money. She's like, crap, I am gonna have to lay people off. But then her hero comes to her one day and offers this proposition, and is like, hey, my men need work, need something to do this winter. How about we help you at your ski lift? And it takes a little convincing, but she ultimately says yes. And these men just want to live better lives after making mistakes. They know what they did is wrong, but they definitely want to fix those mistakes. And they're great with all the kids and everyone who comes to the ski lift. But this is a romance between the guy who like runs the ex-con house and the heroine who runs the ski lift. And I really enjoyed this one. It was so fun. I didn't really know what to think going in before I started it, but it's actually a great read. I have The Mistletoe Motive by Chloe Lisa. This one's more of like a Christmas romance, okay? Both these characters work at a bookstore and they don't get along. It's kind of like hate to love, okay? They work at the Bailey's bookstore, which is an older couple. They're the Baileys. And they go up to them one day and it's like, hey, we're gonna have to let y'all go because we're losing sales right now. We're not gonna be able to afford having employees. And so these two make a bet to like, whoever can make the most book sales between the two of us by Christmas time, like they don't have to quit, the other person does. And so they're in this like competition together. It's angsty and fun, full of holiday goodness. There's representation here for autism and type 1 diabetes. Merry Inkmas by Talia Hibbert is another holiday read. So if you're wanting a holiday read on top of it being a wintry, I recommend this one. Talia Hibbert knows how to write spice. I will just let y'all know. If you're not picked a Talia Hibbert up yet, you need to, because she is fantastic. The heroine of this one works at a coffee shop, and she is always really into this one guy who comes in every single morning, and when she asks him what he wants, he always says, surprise me, and he's apparently very hot and gorgeous and stunning. She's like, okay. And so she makes him like a fun, frilly drink every single morning. He actually owns the tattoo shop down the street, but something happens in this book. The heroine gets fired from the coffee shop, and the hero feels responsible for it because something happened. I won't get into it because I don't want to spoil you. So he offers her a job at the tattoo shop that he works at as being like the front desk lady. And so she agrees, and she's like shocked that this very gorgeous man would want to hire her and even notice her. Little does she know that he actually hates coffee. Doesn't drink coffee, but just goes to the coffee shop every single morning to talk to her and see her. So it's actually really cute. I really like this one. For my last 3 books, I have novellas, 2 Cassie Mint ones that I'd recommend because there's so many. There's like 8 I could probably recommend, but I'm limiting myself to 2. The Gift is a fun one. I think it takes place in Antarctica, like or somewhere else. I don't know, but it's like a scientist research center, and the heroine is the postal service person who comes to deliver packages and mail, and she has a big crush on one of these scientist men that is researching there, decides to give him a Christmas present this year and wraps herself up. I also have Big Boss. This is a best friend's dad little novella, which I always love The heroine is on break for Christmas break, winter break from college, and she didn't have anywhere to go. So her best friend was like, hey, just come stay with me and my dad at our house. They have this giant mansion house that they live in, and her best friend is actually going on a vacation somewhere, and the heroine's like in the house alone with the dad, and they have actually been pining after each other for quite a while. And lastly, I have A Midnight Clear by Kate Bateman. This is a very tiny, I want to say like under 30 page novella. That's a historical, I think it's Russian, set in Russia. The heroine is on her way to be with her love, but they end up being stuck in an inn before she can get to him, and things happen. But that's all I want to say because it's so short. It's really short, but it's a great little historical read that takes place in winter if you want to check it out. Anyways, there you have it. Those are 10 romances that give me winter vibes for sure. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books or if you plan to. And if you don't feel like commenting anything else, you can leave me a snowflake emoji in the comment section down below, even though we don't get any snow here in Texas. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I will see y'all soon in my next one. Bye y'all.